we're going to do is present a summary of the research that we've done on the Claim 28 mines, the mine waste up here, the seep of water that came out of the mine waste, and the waterfall spring. We're going to give you the overview of the science that has happened. Mrs. Nez, Helen Nez, whose stories have, and perseverance and strength have been an inspiration for all of us.
So Edison is to show you how the floor, and you're welcome to use this mic.
These sites where there has been left over the waste from the old uranium mining, and some of the water, not all of the water, some of the water is not safe for people, and the sites are not safe for people to access. So we're going to repeat and talk about the hazards and why people should stay away from these sites. You see here you guys are up here, all through here, and look how many there are of these abandoned uranium mines throughout the West. More than 10,000, they say. It's really a fraction of all the different kinds of hard rock mines that are in the western United States. But here on Navajo, there's supposed to be more than 1,100 of these mine features and at least 520 discrete uranium mines. But importantly, a lot of these old mines have had little or no reclamation other than to fix the safety hazards, which the AML department has worked on. And many of them are unfenced, and there's no signs. Of course, you know, the animals can't read signs, but people can, right? And this is particularly important here in Navajo country because there are still so many people and communities who live close to these mine sites. There's 13 different abandoned mines left over from the 1950s to the late 1960s. And they produced, it says 16,800 tons of uranium ore. And that made them, in the scheme of things compared to other mines, those are small mines. And, but it doesn't lessen the hazard just because these were small mines compared to some of the other bigger mines like over here in the Eastern Agency. That doesn't necessarily make them less hazardous. How these uranium and arsenic on these tiny little pieces of sand get into the air. And if they get into the air, how you breathe them. Some of the preliminary tests that colleagues of Jose and Samant have done has shown that these particles with the uranium and the arsenic and the vanadium are so teeny, so small, they can be breathed deeply into the lungs, and that's where they may cause harm, okay? But we don't know this. We don't know how this actually works. And it goes back to this man's question here. How close or far away from these sites would you be affected by this? So this is some of the further work that we need to do. This is a long-term project. Her concern about what we do is yet years away. Cleaning up these sites is yet years away. Understanding how people are affected, whether they live like in the Gray Eyes camp right at the base or a half-mile away or down there, we don't know that yet. That's why we have to do air sampling and further analysis of the little grains that these metals are on. We found uranium in the waterfall spring and in the sea. that is anywhere from 5 to 6 times almost the federal drinking water standard and the Navajo Nation drinking water standard. So you don't need to know a lot about the numbers to know that this is a very high level of uranium in both places, and it is not fit for human consumption. So don't drink the water. Okay? The samples that we have collected from Waterfall Spring, June of last year and November of 2013, all have high uranium concentrations, as did a sample that was collected by the US EPA back in 1998, 15, 16 years ago, right? Compare these numbers, and again, the Waterfall Spring has lots of uranium compared with the drinking water standard. The drinking water standard may be in fact too high. Your activities, your advocacy for your community with the participation of your community members has now allowed this site to be added to the Navajo Nation's abandoned uranium mine priority list, and that's a big accomplishment for the community.
I want to commend you guys for actually concentrating on Blue Gap and helping us with our issues here with the uranium. And you guys are doing a very good job, an excellent job. On behalf of my community, I'd like to thank you. Give me a hand.
The take-home message is that we're trying to put as compelling of information as we can, so that when we go to talk, you know, when we discuss these issues, for example, like yesterday, that we discussed it with Navajo EPA and with the Superfund, they can actually understand, oh yeah, this is good work. So and they were actually very, you know, very receptive yesterday, and we want to partner together.
To kujugo art and todas dinigi za egizat epilpitni do inta atskoperhos no inta kujina goitsega hotsanja aje the EPA gi ebna honna shoya ala anni ade nahot ila de no zetliki jo kodo ebenel nishila kes as eat to know ya na right. Francis Kaiser O'Hara, she's a Zitis. I can't get Zitis on the yacht. Okay, Kashila. Okay, now, think at Bayas Higi, a Senal car. A coco, lay Cohort in the Chocodo in Hitlia, Bahatzit, a Cohort in the Bahatzit. Ilebik ahnal kage bahatsne akondeltsa atinel kha ani akot ache nein tlue gota khodota anni gota jo ekot ya referral gi to nil an le de na da to kha adon na gapan nagon da to tlas biyo ne to
saying we want help all the way down to June of last year, and the results of this science that we're seeing. So a quarter century just to get to the point of telling you what's in this stuff on a preliminary basis. The youth, if you call Dr. Serrato, if you call any of your professors, this is going to be an issue that you're going to inherit, whether you like it or not. We hear in our birth cohort study from the young women who are enrolled, oh, that's grandpa's and grandma's problem, that's not mine. No. It's all of our problem, and it's going to continue to be a problem that the youth are going to inherit, and you'll have to be sitting here and talking to the older people, okay? So just keep that in mind. There's reasons to go to school and learn the science, and then apply the science to what the grandparents have taught, the cultural teachings. Okay? There's nothing invalid about your cultural teachings. and you can use the Western science to understand them better.